Hi, this is Murray.
And I'm Jaylen.
And we're here tonight to talk about investing, explicitly investing for young adults, or in Jaylen's case, teenagers. So I wanted to, just take this opportunity to give Jaylen an opportunity to talk about why he thought it was important when he learned that I was helping other young people start investing accounts. Why he thought it was important for him to jump in and participate as well. So I'm going to let him kind of tell you guys exactly kind of what his thought process was, and just some of the things that he hopes to accomplish through investing at the young age of 16. Go ahead, Jay.
Okay, so I think that it's important to start investing, as early as possible. The earlier the better. And then in my case, with me still being under my parents' roof, I felt like that's the best time to start. I feel like I have, two parents who really stress the importance of investing to me. We're constantly talking about different, ways to get ahead financially. And so just as a young man, at the young age of 16, I felt that it was important to go ahead and start now, rather than wait later.
Okay, awesome. So in terms of some of the things that you're hoping to accomplish with the investing long term, or even kind of midterm, I'm sure at this age you're not thinking about retirement. So some older people may say one of their major objectives of retirement, but I'm sure that's not your situation. Tell me some of the things that you think you would like to be able to use the money for sometime down the road.
Well, first and foremost, I think that with me going into my senior year, and then having to go throughout college and undergrad, I think once I graduate college, I definitely want to be in a position where I'm able to either do one or two things, or, well, the first thing I would probably do is I would like to probably purchase my own car, and so I feel that with my investing, and if I'm being diligent and being consistent, I'll be set up in order to do that. It doesn't even have to be, the greatest car on the market or anything like that, but just like a good, decent car, that's a good, reasonable price. I feel like, investing can set me up to do that. And then further along, I guess, I figured that I'd definitely be in grad school probably around the age of, 22, 23. I'll probably be graduating around 23, considering like how ahead I am as far as my college work and stuff. And so by then, hopefully I can, purchase my own home, or, put a down payment on a home or something like that, and, work from there.
Oh, that sounds really good, Jay. So now, what about, people or young people who would say, man, why worry about investing right now? Why not just enjoy life? What would you say to those people?
I would just say, like, me and you talk about it all the time, delayed gratification. I think that, if kids or, people my age learn how to develop that, earlier than later, then that would be very beneficial for them, And, investing now, I think is a great start. If you have the knowledge and you have the resources to start investing now, or whatever age you're at, but now at this young age, I feel it's the best time, because, you're giving yourself that time, like I said, while you're still under your parents' roof, and you're not really out on your own, so it's not like a bunch of pressure, like, I got to get this off. But
right.
So I feel like starting, earlier and getting, majority of the hard stuff out the way, I guess, and trying to, build, and then once you're grown and you're at the house and you're on your own, life will probably be a little bit more easier for you. You can have a lot more options.
Gotcha. So, just so we're clear and people your age understand your perspective on investing, what do you think the difference is between, I guess, just putting money in a regular bank account and actually having an investment account? And of course, I don't expect you to have it perfect, but just kind of let the audience know kind of your thoughts on the difference between the two.
Well, I think right now, from my understanding, the difference between just having a regular bank account and having an investment account is your investment account should be separate from your main source of money, if that makes sense. I would believe, and as well as like just regular savings. You wouldn't put your savings with your regular bank account because you're bound to spend that. And so
Right.
if you want your money to grow, it's better to have it in a separate account that you're putting in whatever your amount of money is, whether it's a small amount, big amount, but you're consistently putting that money in a separate account. And so you can hold yourself accountable and not dig into those resources unless, you really have to.
Right. Now, so when you put the money into the investment account, is the money just staying with the institution you put it in, or is something else happening with it? This is kind of a trick question, and so we're kind of off the cuff, Jay. I'm gonna spice this up,
Okay.
Because I realize I may not have done a good job with explaining to you the difference. So the reason why it's an investment account in the first place is because you're actually investing in a company or companies.
Oh, okay.
So you're literally getting partial ownership of companies, as like if you're investing in stock, you're getting partial ownership of stock. Not partial ownership. You're getting partial ownership of the company that you buy the stock from. So let's say you buy 100 shares of Apple. You have 100 shares of Apple stock. That means you have partial ownership in Apple. However many millions of shares they have, you have you have that amount of ownership. Like if it's 1,000 shares total, and you have 100 of them, you have 1/10 ownership in Apple. Of course, Apple has way more shares than that, but that's the concept. So when we help people invest, most of the time what we're looking at is not the individual stocks. We look at mutual funds. So the difference between a stock and a mutual fund is a mutual fund has multiple companies within it. So like every time you purchase a share of the mutual fund, you're purchasing partial ownership in all the different companies that mutual fund buys. Mm-hmm. So if something were to happen to one of those companies, if one of the companies is doing bad, guess what? You still have all the rest of the companies that may not be doing bad. And so the mutual fund kind of spreads the risk out amongst all the companies. So, that's something that, a lot of times adults aren't aware of. So, of course, children wouldn't be aware of. But one of the beautiful things about, I guess, just trying to be educated and trying to learn about the market is that, like I said, the market allows you to have partial ownership. Now, so that's kind of what you're invested in. That's whereas a bank, most of the time, the bank, when you put that money in, they're not giving you any interest on the money. Or if they are giving you interest, they're giving you minimal interest because really, they're saying, hey, whatever you put in, you're definitely going to get out. We're going to give you exactly what you put in. But guess what? Most of the time, the banks they're not leaving that money in the bank account. They're actually using your money, and they're buying. They're invested in something, and then they just give you what you put in. And so, really and truly, either you could allow the banks to benefit from your money, or you can benefit by investing your money. But somebody's investing your money more than likely when you put money into into an institution, either in a savings institution or in an investment institution. The question is, who's getting the benefit? Does that make sense?
Yeah.
So, with all that being said, what are some of your long-term financial goals beyond just graduation? Tell the listeners, I guess, right now, from your perspective as a 16, soon to be 17-year-old that's about to start your senior year in high school, what are your kind of goals beyond college? I guess number one, what is your college major? What do you think you want to do with the college major? Understanding that life changes, you may get into college and figure out something different, but kind of just tell us what kind of where you are right now.
So right now, I'm currently going into my senior, like my dad said, going into my senior year of high school, and my situation is a little different from your traditional high school student. I'm in an early college high school program, so in my senior year, well, as well as my junior and senior year in this program, spent majority finishing doing college coursework. I finished pretty much all of my high school coursework already, and so like these last 2 years, I'm just focusing on college coursework. And so with this, I do have the chance to get an associate's degree once I graduate, and that major for my associate's degree is business. And once I go into actual college and stuff like that, I do plan to expand more, and not just be just in business. I want to expand in the technical side as well, and basically put my leg out there in different aspects, not just being combined to one box. And so with that being said, hopefully once I graduate and I'm done with school, I can put myself in a situation, in a position to where I have hopefully a decent job already set up for me, where I can work and utilize my skills that I've gained from my education, and not just have those degrees just to have them. My plan is to get a bachelor's and then continue my education and get a degree in graduate school. And so with that being said, hopefully I can get a stable job coming out of school, and I can work that job, and also I can have different side hustles, I would say.
Right. So let me stop you right there and ask a few more questions. So you're thinking about business, right?
Yeah.
So you mentioned that you would love to be able to utilize a business degree, but also do some technical.
Yeah.
Explain exactly what you mean when you say that, for people who may not be aware, or just don't have the same frame of reference that you do.
So what I mean by technical, in me having a technical side per se in the business world, I just mean having something, whether that's being certified in computer science, or whatever your technical skill may be, just anything dealing with computers nowadays.
Right. Right.
So the world is never slowing down. It's forever running faster and faster and faster, and it's ran by technology. So
right.
I feel like it's really important to just expand yourself when it comes to that. So
you just basically being diversified.
Right.
Gotcha. Now, with that being said, in terms of the business degree, any particular area of business you think right now you think you may want to venture into, whether that be real estate, whether that just be working at a regular 9 to 5 at a Fortune 500 company? Do you kind of have in your head kind of where you think you may land?
I definitely think about it. I try to, when people ask me about what I want to do, like I said, I always tell them business, but I try to think about it deeper than that, and specify what I mean by that. And so I think at the moment I definitely think about real estate. I think about possibly getting to a space where I can own things. I can own properties, or just different assets that I can have, and as well as just trying to see what's out there for me, what opportunities as I go throughout my education, as I get older, as I experience stuff, what opportunities will be available for me, and just being able to think and venture those things.
Gotcha. So we're gonna change course real quick. So the last couple years since you've been in high school, you've been trying to do the balancing act between student and athlete. I know the last couple of years you had the opportunity to play basketball, as well as being on the swim team, as well as be a part of Tougaloo's early college high school, and all of those different things. And in addition to being the candy man at school, so all of those different things has been a balancing act. Tell us a little bit about how you've been able to kind of manage or navigate balancing all of those different things out as a student.
I think the main thing is just understanding your priorities. It's good to have a lot of things that you're invested in, and a lot of things that keep you on your toes, but when your priorities are out of whack, you can tend to lose track on what's truly important. Like, I am an athlete, but I pride myself on being a student athlete. I do my best to put my coursework first, classes first, and and I think that's the easiest way to balance it. You really have to evaluate what's more important. What is going to get me the most, what is going to be most beneficial to me in the long run, and you just got to evaluate those things and understand, how to balance them. Like for me, I feel like on a day-to-day, during the school year, my main thing, I just treat it kind of like a job. I go to school, try my best to knock out any assignments that I have. I do what I have to do. And then depending on what season I'm in, whether that's swim or basketball, probably around the evening time I'll have practice, or I'll have an event, a swim meet, or I'll have a game. And so just being able to balance, the earlier parts of my days and getting stuff out the way, making sure that I'm really tackling the tough stuff. And so I can, do what I need to do in the evening times, with my extracurricular that might take up most of my time, when I'm in those things and I'm not by myself or having time to study.
Gotcha. So I think I heard what you were saying is that just really making sure you understand the priority, right?
Yeah.
So what would you say to somebody in a similar position as you are? What would be if you just had to give one piece of advice into somebody that's trying to juggle all those things? What would you tell them?
I would say sometimes it's good to just stop. Oftentimes we can be caught up on trying our best to, prioritize things. We don't really think about what we're prioritizing. Sometimes it's just best to just stop and, evaluate your game plan. Write down things. How am I going to tackle this? And, figure out how you're going to execute it. And so I think that's the best advice I can give. Just give yourself time to stop and just plan. Planning is the best thing that you can do before you act.
No, that's good. That's good advice, Jaylen. That's good advice. All right. So tell us a little bit about, I guess, some of the things that have inspired you to want to go out there and achieve, and wanting to go out there and be a Renaissance student athlete that is going out there and trying to be good at sports, be good at be good at sports, be good at being a student, be good at being a business person, as well as being just a good all-around kid that wants to do right by his parents and wants to be just be a good friend. What has inspired you to be that type of young man?
I think first just my faith. I feel like my faith in the Lord. It really inspires me. I wake up every day and I especially during the school year, I wake up every day and say the same prayer. Lord, allow me to be a light today. And so I think I carry that with myself. I bury that deep inside my heart. And so I think that what motivates me, like whether that's in school, basketball, sports, being a businessman, whatever. And then just like my parents, you guys, my parents really motivate me in terms of putting things into perspective for me, whether it's my dad or my mom. My mom, she always tells me that, well, my dad too, whatever I do, make sure that I give my all,
Right.
Make sure that I'm doing whatever it takes to put in the maximum effort and time that is needed in order to succeed in that thing. And so I think that motivates me. And then another thing probably just be my grandmother. She really motivates me, even after her passing and stuff of that nature. I think I'm always motivated by her, and what she did while she was on this earth, and
Right.
what I was able to see, as her grandchild. So I think that really motivates me a lot. And so I just keep that with me day to day, keep it in my heart, and that's how I continue to thrive and chase after the things that I want.
A wonderful answer. Piggybacking on the answer you just gave, can you just elaborate a little bit more about the value and the things that you take away from your grandmother example?
Well, yeah, like for anybody who knew my grandmother, you know that she was just a person who loved people. She loved. Like, I think that's the biggest thing you can do in this world. It's such a hate-driven world we can live in sometimes. A simple act of love can take you a long way, and I think that's just what my grandmother instilled in me. She, her love for the Lord, and her love for people. I think that's just something that I admired her for. As I grew up and got older and understood that.
Wonderful. Yeah, she was a special woman. I concur with that, Jay. I think, like you said, she did a great job of loving the Lord and loving people.
Yeah.
I think she is probably one of the best examples I have of doing that very well as well. Now, with that being said, I want to ask you another question because I think of course the audience may not know, but I recently had a loss in my family, my immediate family, for a young person in my family, and without getting into too many details, that loss just has me recognizing that there's so many young people who are going through things, struggling through things, not always, I guess, knowing their place in the world, not always feeling valued, not always just having hope. What would you say to young people in general about being a young person, trying to find their way in the world, and something to encourage them to just continue to, I guess, pursue better? What would you say to somebody that you thought that you think that may be struggling?
I think something that I'd probably say is just not trying to find your purpose, but understanding that you already have one. Whether you see it at the moment or, it's a long way to come. Just knowing that you have a purpose. I think that's a big thing. I've come across a lot of peers, who, in times where they felt hopeless. They felt like, the things that were occurring in their life at the moment, just they didn't like what was going on in their life, and so they just didn't know how to handle it, or didn't understand what was next for them, I would say, and
Right.
They didn't have anything to look forward to. But I think the main thing is just reassuring yourself that you have purpose. I think that's a big thing, understanding that, whether you realize that your purpose is God-given, or even if you don't realize that it's God-given and you're in a space where, you haven't heard that message in your life, but just understanding overall you do have purpose, whether you understand it's God-given or not.
Right. And I think a big part of what you just said is pretty profound. No matter who may listen to this or hear this, whether they have a firm handle or firm faith and belief in a higher being, and more specifically, if they have a firm grasp of the God that's spoken about in the Bible, they do, And I think one of the things that, of course, we want to communicate is that we believe that every human being is created in God's image, and because of that, you have value. Like Jaylen said, with that value, you also have purpose and design. Sometimes we don't know what we're here for, and sometimes even when we know that God does have purpose for us, we don't know what that purpose is, and that can be frustrating.
Yeah.
And sometimes, life can come at you where you're convinced that either you've shipwrecked that purpose, or circumstances have shipwrecked that purpose. But we just want to encourage you guys, whether you're my age, whether you're older, whether you're a young pup like Jaylen, that God does have purpose for you. And so that's really good, Jay. One last question for you, in terms of, I guess, just being, going from, changing from boy to man. What do you think the most important thing is in terms of maturation as and not just a man, but a African American man? What do you think is the most important thing, or things that you think you've had to embrace, or you're starting to embrace as you trying to transition from being an immature little boy to a more mature boy to grown, mature man? What do you think are some of the keys to helping that maturation process?
I think some of the keys would just be understanding responsibility. I think that's a big thing. I think for myself, a lot of people say as a man it's great to have great character, and I think I have pretty good character. I think, my parents, people around me, family members, mentors, whatever the case may be, I think, over the years I've gotten over, I've been instilled great character. And so I think that will take care of itself. But as I'm getting older, I'm starting to understand how to handle responsibility. If you can master handling your responsibilities and, keeping the main thing and stand on top of your business or whatever that may be, I feel like you'll be a life will come a little bit more easier, for you.
Right. Now that's good, Jay. So, what's your favorite cartoon character?
I think if I were to pick one, it would probably be, I don't know, probably like SpongeBob or somebody.
Can you do a SpongeBob impression?
I don't know.
What's your best impression, Jay? What's your best impression?
Like cartoon characters or just any impression?
Anybody. It could be your mom.
I don't. Well,
She might get you, but
my teammates, my coach, he don't know this, but we always do impressions of him.
oh, okay, good. Hopefully he won't see this, but go ahead and give us one real quick.
He was like, we'll do something wrong, and his go-to is, "Come on, son, son." he just love like whatever we do is either "Come on, son" or "So what you doing, son?"
Man, yeah, we used to have. I had when I was 7th, 8th grade, we had a coach. I didn't play any sports, but we had a coach that taught social studies. I couldn't get it out. I won't say his name, but man, he was hilarious. He would be like, he had a toothpick and he would be like, just spitting on you. It'd be like Tom Big B Ribba, Pearl Ribba, because he taught Mississippi studies, and yeah, he was hilarious. Okay, so I'm trying to just think of anything else that we haven't covered that people would be entertained by. Favorite video game?
Favorite video game at the moment will be 2K, NBA 2K. That's my favorite video game.
Gotcha. Yeah, that's no surprise there.
my friends get on me. They say I don't play anything else. I'm sorry. That's all I want to play if I do play the game.
Gotcha. Yeah, I used to play a lot of role playing games back in the day. The Legend of Zelda, stuff like that. I think Final Fantasy. These days I don't really play a whole lot, but all right. So anything else that you want to cover? Because like I said, we're gonna splice this up. So
I think like just like financial stuff.
No, anything. Because like I said, we're gonna splice it up and put different headings and titles on it. So I'm just trying to get the most out of it. What have we talked about that? So once again, my intent is to be a blessing to somebody's. That's why I asked you a question. The questions related to what would you say to like somebody depressed. Mm-hmm. So I definitely want to strike a mix between serious topics and fun.
Oh, yeah.
Because I don't want people to be like, oh man, they ain't talking about all they want to talk about is serious stuff. So as a young man, I want you to talk about real stuff. Of course, because you're talking to a father, you're having a conversation with a father figure. It can't be too reckless, but it could still be fun. You know what I mean? Yeah. So anything else that you can think of? I know it's gonna be something I'm gonna think of after we stop recording.
Yeah.
Like we could talk about the responsibility of being an older sibling, but that ain't.
Yeah.
That's not. That's more. I wanted something that's a little lighter.
We already talked about student athlete and stuff.
Student athlete. Okay, Jaylen. So tell us about how you kind of got involved with how did you become the Candyman? How did you become the Candyman? I don't know what they call it. Did they have a nickname for you?
No, they didn't. So they didn't really have a nickname for me. But how it got started, it was just regular conversation with my dad, and he just asked me. I think he was like, "Do kids at your school like honey buns?"
Yeah.
So I was like, "I guess people like honey buns." And so he just put the idea, in my head. He was like, "You ever thought about selling honey buns?" And so then, at the moment, we really didn't talk about it that much after, that. But then one day, over the course of a week or two, I really thought about it, and I was like, "Hey, why not? Why not?"
He took it and ran with it, y'all. He ran with it.
Why not? So it started off. I sold honey buns, and the first week I sold them, I think what happened was I sold an entire box of 12. And then I had bought 2 boxes because I was only selling honey buns to begin with. And I was like, I just leave this second box in this little desk drawer at school. Ain't nobody gonna bother it. I come back the next day, it was 4 honey buns out of a box of 12. left in that box.
Wow. So somebody got you for 8 honey buns?
I guess so. I was like, wow, people, how did somebody? I don't know. I was in shock. I was like, man, I thought that was a good hiding spot, but I guess not. So then I was like, no more leaving snacks at school. I thought that was gonna be a good idea. And after that, I think I sold the rest that I had in there. And so then I had to recuperate and, really think, all right, I'm going to sell honey buns. So I think I sold them again, just only honey buns. And I ended up selling about 2 boxes of honey buns, 12. Like I sold all 12 this time, or both boxes.
Right.
And then people just started asking me different questions like, if you had this, I'll be in your face every day if you had this. And so I started off, I bought candy bars. So I started off with the Hershey's cookie and cream candy bars. Then I bought the Snickers.
My ego out the way. It's been forever and a day. I told him get on board, so let's ride. Listen, all hands to the sky now. Tell the flesh it's time.